Hi, I'm Anna Alvarez with Cairo Counseling, and I'm coming to you with some mental health tips during this time of the global pandemic of COVID-19. One of the things that I know is being affected that is really important to me are relationships, specifically marriages. And I've always had a heart for relationships, but specifically marriages are so important during this time for a couple to be strong and stay in agreement and to support one another. I heard someone say that during this time the divorce rates are going to be at an increase, and I believe in research has shown, even in some of the other countries, that there has been an increase in some of those requests for divorces. So I am standing with every person out there and believing that divorce rates will not increase during this time, but that rather than couples disconnecting and growing further apart, that this will be a time where couples will draw closer to one another, and that we can learn something new about our partner, that we will feel a closer connection during this time. It's really up to us how we invest in our marriage during this time. So what we're noticing is that because more and more people are working from home, losing their jobs, they're confined to small spaces of their home for a longer period of time than what they're used to. There's going to be the likelihood of more arguments and conflict and things that will lead to problems in a marriage. So stress is extremely high right now, and we know that not just because of the virus is it stressful, but because it's affecting the economy, it's affecting our finances, and it's affecting our mental health, it's affecting everything that we're able to do. Stress is just extremely high. I've been saying the world is stressed right now. So to say that you're not stressed, for you not to acknowledge that, or for you not to notice it, is not being aware of what's happening. The world is stressed, but it's what do we do with that stress? How are we going to live out our life during this time? So we may think that we're stuck at home with nowhere to go. Maybe you're someone who tends to spend a lot of time away from the home, and now you are finding yourself spending more time there. It may seem like it's a nightmare, and it's so hard for you. And so during this time, we know that it's difficult to find a new routine, new things to do, and we have to get creative. We really do. And so it's going to be important for the main thing that is going to be important is for you to have patience with yourself and patience with your partner. It's hard to have patience, but it's even harder when the stress is higher. We are quick to go to our emotions. We are quick to be impatient, to be irritable, to respond from a place of frustration. We're grouchy, or we're just not ourselves. We are not our best self. And when stress is higher. So we have to be aware of that, because we're responsible for ourselves. We're responsible for how we act, we feel, and we behave. We can't say, this person made me do it. No, we are responsible for what we say. We are responsible for how we react. Okay? So we have to continuously assess and evaluate our emotions, evaluate what we're thinking. That self-assessment will give you the opportunity to really see, okay, how am I responding? do I need to respond right now? Do I need to take space? What do I need to do for myself? Because I know once I say it, I can't take it back. It's already come out. The person can't unhear it. We can't unexperience it. So whatever you say, whatever you do, remember, once it's out of you, it's happened. Yes, people are gracious to forgive and we can apologize, but remember that also is time that we're going to have to, fix that. So rather than fixing something that has happened, how about we think about it? We slow down in our responses before we say or act on anything, because these are really challenging times, and acknowledge that you are higher, your stress is higher, so you're more likely to impulsively react. Okay, so what we want to do is understand that we need a time to realign. So we need to realign ourselves sometimes. There's times when we just need to say, hey, I need some time in the bedroom just by myself. Maybe I go read a book. Maybe I watch a TV show. Maybe I, take a nap. Maybe whatever it is I do. Maybe I go do some exercise in my room. Whatever it is, I'm going to take that time for myself to realign. And that is going to be a good coping skill for you. So that may be necessary. Really, I said this in one of my other videos, but to have a really good routine. So have structure. Let that guide you, okay? So those who may have originally gone to drinking or smoking or to avoiding or even leaving the house to go just to get away. You may not be able to do those as much now, or you don't want to do those things because they're bad habits. Having some structure, creating a routine. I know that in my home we're all working from home, and we have two teenagers who are studying from home. So having a routine, so we get up at a certain time and we have our own space. Creating that, we've had to purchase things, we've had to move furniture around and restructure our home so that we can have that space that allows us to be successful during that work time. And so and then we set a time. Okay, we're going to eat lunch at this time. We're going to eat it together. Or we're going to go for a walk and take a break. Everybody at one, or if you don't want to do it all together, you want to take your own break, you can do that, but this is the break time, so we're doing that. So structuring it and figuring out how are we gonna relax tonight. There's certain shows that you guys like to watch together. Maybe it's, oh hey, let's have a game night tonight. Knowing what you're going to do, so you and your partner will and be on the same page with one another. When you are on the same page with your partner as you are parenting, it's going to be so much easier. So have a meeting with you and your partner, how you're going to take care of these things, so you can be in agreement. And partner and participate in those things together. The load may feel like it's uneven because perhaps one parent is home with the kids more, or they're doing most of the homeschooling. Maybe it's, I am feeling more of the load for whatever reason. Learn and understand how that load may be affecting. We may have a different threshold than our partner. So if we know that our partner has a harder time with a certain thing, have some understanding. Let's not be thinking like, well, if I have to do it, then you should have to do it. It's like this blame and this, it's not fair type of thing. No, let's just have some understanding and see where our strengths and our weaknesses are, and understand that and learn that about each other. The other thing is to set some boundaries and do what you can to draw those lines. Give yourself space to really be productive. Let's not crowd one another. If you know that I need to have space to work, I'm going to respect the other person's boundary in that. When I work from home, maybe the first thing I need to do is check my emails or respond and make phone calls. If I feel like I'm going to be more productive and my focus and my attention is sharper during this time, I'm going to respect that boundary for the other person or whatever it may be. I'm going to also be honest about alone time. I want to make sure that I can give my partner the alone time that they need. So that's the boundary, or say, I'm going to be honest with what I need. The person is not going to just read your mind. Nobody can read minds, so we're going to have to verbalize what we need. So we can't be passive about it, and we don't want to be too aggressive about it either. And so the other things would be just give the other person the benefit of the doubt, that they're trying to do their best, you're trying to do your best, you're stressed, and let's just have empathy and compassion for an understanding for the other person. You also are going to want to get creative with date nights. There are some good tips online just to get creative. Perhaps you're doing a backyard picnic, or maybe a special movie night. You put the kids to bed, you stay up later, whatever. It's hectic. It's about getting creative. Maybe you create a bucket list together. This is the time to connect. Maybe you're going to start a marriage study, relationship study. Maybe you're going to even just write a letter to one another. I love dance parties. I'm going to have a dance party or something like that. And do those things to still put some focus and invest in your marriage during that time. And even have conversations like, hey, how did this week go? What worked and what didn't work? Take some time for one another, for self-care, for yourself, and for the marriage. Also, you want to practice gratitude. Be thankful for what you have in your marriage. Be thankful for the relationship that you have. Maybe you write down 10 things that you're grateful for, and it's going to train your brain to focus more on those things that you're grateful for. It may seem a little cheesy, but it really does work. And you also want to make time for other people. As a couple, you might do a FaceTime with another couple and just connect with them, and as you would have maybe done it for like a couple's date or something like that. There are so many things that you can do. Don't let this time bring conflict or bring a wedge in your relationship, because your relationship is the most important relationship that you have here on this earth. And when you guys are on the same page, everything else is going to follow. You're going to find more joy and more peace. And during this time, you need one another. You don't need another thing to be stressed about. You don't need something to be in conflict with. So I'm praying for all the marriages and the couples out there that you will find this time to draw closer to one another and closer to God. And thank you for listening, and I hope that you will continue to come back and listen to some more of these mental health tips. Be safe.